What's going on, guys? My name is Joe. This is the Duel Factory, and in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you what I took to my locals since I've been able to go a lot more frequently, so I get to play a lot more. And I took first place undefeated with this deck, and is the Phantom Knight strategy. One of my favorite things about this deck actually is just really, really good this format, and a lot of people don't know about or aren't on it. And it has a lot of cool, interesting, like 2-card combos that you can do that produce some pretty scary boards in the game. And it's one of my favorite decks, specifically because it's an older deck that honestly has withstood the stand of time. And the Phantom Knight cards are actually crazy, and with Torn Scales, it's probably one of the best legacy support cards we've gotten in a while. And we all know how crazy of a card Rusty Bardiche is. And it's probably one of the decks this format that honestly plays Red Eyes Dark Dragoon the best, and that card is actually just ignorant, and in the right deck can be a solid win condition. That being said, like I said, not a lot of people are on this deck, so I wanted to go ahead and show you guys what I played for my locals and took first place with before I get started. Don't forget to check out the X2 Drop podcast. It looks like we'll at least be posting once a month, so you'll hear from me and John. Hopefully John will start posting more on Bingo HD. When he does make content, it's very good quality content, so don't forget to go check him out because he's got a lot of old stuff on there that you guys might like. Don't forget to check out Legacy Crusaders. And then another channel I'm going to shout out is July_TCG. He's actually a YouTube channel that I've been recently watching, trying to get as much information I can on the Phantom Knight strategy and trying to understand from someone else's outlook so I can just get a better input on the deck. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and get started. So for the Phantom Knight lineup, I do play 10. So we are playing 3 copies of Phantom Knight's Torn Scale. For those of you who don't know what this card is, it's essentially an Armageddon Knight for the archetype. You discard a card and send a Phantom Knight card from the deck to the graveyard, and then it has another effect. While it's in the graveyard, if you banish a Phantom Knight card, you can special summon this card and get additional body on the field. However, when it leaves the field, after being summoned deck, it's banished. A lot of the times you're using it for rank 3 combos anyway, so I don't have to worry about that, but just keep that in mind because sometimes some people won't even realize it and then they'll cheat you on it. And then the other 3 of Phantom Knight we play is 3 copies of Silent Boots. This is one of the older ones. You can special summon if you control another Phantom Knight monster on the field, and it searches the spell and trap cards. I do max these out at 3 because Torn Scales and Silent Boots is one of the best ways to play through opposing Nibiru's and stuff like that, so I feel like you have to max out on them. And then the other Phantom Knights, we are playing 2 copies of Phantom Knight's Cloak. We do play 2 simply because if it's one of the only cards you open in your hand, it does equal a 1-card Dragoon, and it does search your Phantom Knight monsters such as your Torn Scales, Silent Boots, Ragged Gloves, and Stangreaves if you need it, so that's why I think it's good enough that you have to facilitate playing 2. Then for the 1-ofs, we play 1 Stangreaves and 1 Ragged Gloves. Ragged Gloves is probably the best utility one because it can be any Phantom Knight in your deck, and then it does give your XYZ monsters 1,000 attack point buff if needed. And then Stangreaves is a really, really good utility one. It can special summon itself. It can also special summon ones out of your hand by banishing it. That's why we're playing the 1-of copy. As for other facilitating engines, one of my favorite reasons to actually play this deck currently is 3 copies of Tour Guides, and I've had ultis for God knows how long, and I've just been wanting to play them. But this card's really good in this deck. It is a 1-card combo paired with other cards such as Kagamuchi Knight. It's one of the best openings you can have in your deck. So we are playing 3 of it. For the monsters to summon off Tour Guide other than itself, we do have 1 copy of Serum, 1 copy of Graph. I was originally playing Libic, but after playing a couple matches and stuff like that and getting a little bit of testing in, you just find that Libic honestly just isn't needed. Now, I do want to play cards like, Edged Sabers and stuff like that in the main deck, simply because if you draw your Red Eyes Fusion, it's another way to put it turn on and whatnot, and so it gives your card more utility, but for now I think this is perfect. And then for the supporting cast, or the level 3 extenders, we are playing 3 copies of Kagamuchi Knight. Kagamuchi Knight and Tour Guide is by far the best opening in the deck, and this card just facilitates a lot of things. So it's level 3, it can be special summoned, it's dark, it's warrior, so it can be searched off Rhoda, and it pairs very well with your Phantom Knight cards. That's why I think it's probably the best extender we have access to. And then we have 1 copy of Tsuchinoko and 1 copy of Jackalope. I wish these cards were at more copies than 1, but there's a reason that they're limited. They're really good extenders. They're just free bodies. They're level 3. They're dark. They facilitate a lot of things in the deck. I'm not playing Nessie because I just don't think it's necessary. And then note, in this list, I'm not playing Psychic Wielder or Psychic Tracker or Emergency Teleport for that matter. I just personally don't think they're needed. Now, that could change as I continue to play the deck more, but for right now, I think the Tour Guide engine, the Phantom Knights, and then the 5 extenders is just enough. For hand traps, I am playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. The big thing here is Ash Blossom is a generic hand trap, and it's level 3, so it works with your other monsters in the deck if you need the level 3 normal summon to put on the board. Following that theme, I am playing 2 copies of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Again, it's level 3, and it's really good. It's a good Tri-Brigade matchup, so that's why it makes the list here. So that's 5 hand traps. To be honest, I might cut the hand traps completely from this deck and just put more gas in the deck, kind of like how the Dragon Link decks play, but I'm not 100% sure. And then for the 2 bricks, I am playing a copy of Dark Magician, a copy of Red Eyes, because you need to play them in order to facilitate summoning your Win Condition and Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Following that, we are playing the 1 copy of Red Eyes Fusion. And then for other spells, I am playing 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet. I do think it is necessary to play in this deck specifically, because it facilitates a lot of things. One, obviously it helps going second in this deck and helps you push through a lot of stuff, but it also sends clunked up Phantom Knights in your hands to the graveyard, being able to activate their effects, or their +1 effects, I should say, a lot sooner than intended. So that's why I think you need to be able to play this card in this deck. It's not mandatory, but it does make your deck a lot better. And then for 1 spells, I'm playing 1 copy of Rhoda. All your Phantom Knights are warriors, Kagamuchi Knights are warrior. It's an auto-include. 1 Called by the Grave to push your stuff through, and then 1 copy of Foolish Burial to send your Phantom Knights. And right now I'm playing 1 Reborn. Don't know how I feel about this card in this strategy specifically. Could come out, could not come out, not 100% sure, but I think it's really good so far, so it made the cut. And then the 5 trap cards I think you have to play in the deck is your 3 copies of Fogblade. Fogblade is more or less your Phoenix Chain of the deck, but it also facilitates combos in your deck because it does have a Reborn effect. And for that reason, I do think you have to play the 1 copy of Phantom Knight's Sword as well to facilitate as a combo piece, and then the 1 copy of Shade Brigadine that facilitates rank 4 plays and also facilitates you being able to combo further past turn 1. And that is my main deck. It is 40 cards. On to my extra deck. For the XYZs, the only 2 of I play right now is 2 copies of Breaksword. I think this is the most insane XYZ in your deck. It facilitates a lot for it. Clears boards, facilitates combos, makes your Bardiche an interruption on your opponent's turn with trap cards in the graveyard. The card's just fantastic. I don't think it's good enough to play 3 because I don't think it's necessary, and 1 is not enough. 2 is actually just the perfect number. Another XYZ that I play, 1 copy of Levier the Sea Dragon. I think we're going to bump this card up to 2 because those cards actually just insane. It generates you free resources, free link materials, it puts Phantom Knights back in your graveyard. Like, it just does a lot for your strategy, and there was a couple times that I was playing the other day that I did want the 2nd copy of it, so I think we're going to put 1 in there. For the rank 4 I'm playing currently is Time Thief Redoer. I think as a rank 4, dark rank 4, I think this is the best generic one you can make because it facilitates a lot of things for a lot of matchups. With a trap card underneath, if it's interruption, you get free draws. If you hit spell cards, it can remove itself off the field. There's just a lot this card facilitates. That's why we're playing it. And then another reason I decided to play the Phantom Knight deck is because I believe it plays the new Utopic card very well. So we play the 1 Utopic Future and the 1 Utopic Future Draco. In hindsight, after playing this, I think in this strategy specifically, I could be wrong, but I think it's a win more card, so I think we're going to cut it to make room for like an Evil Swarm Nightmare and maybe a copy, and then definitely a 2nd copy of Levier the Sea Dragon, maybe on the Evil Swarm Nightmare. I'm not 100% sure. We could play Raider's Knight because I think that card's really good too. I don't know, but I think this spot's going to get switched. For the fusion monsters, your Win Condition, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. This card's, like I said, the card's just ignorant. And if you find a deck that plays it very, very well, it's a very, very hard card to beat. And I think it has a perfect home in the Phantom Knight strategy because you're just looking for something to summon that's opposing to your opponents. And I think this is the answer. And honestly, there's not much to say. The card's just ignorant. And then onto the links. Probably the best reason to play the deck is we have the Rusty Bardiche. This card does so much for your strategy. It's actually just insane. It puts monsters in your graveyard. It becomes an interruption. It turns your entire engine online. Like, the card is actually just fantastic. So not much to say there. For your 1-card Dragoon package, you do have to play Link Spider and Almirage, or otherwise you can't do the 1-card Dragoon with Phantom Knight Cloak, so bear that in mind. The 1 copy of Predaplant Verde Anaconda. Not much to say. I'm pretty sure this card's getting banned at some point because it's actually just crazy, but maybe I'm just wrong. 1 copy of Cherubini. The card's really, really insane in your deck, and it helps you facilitate a lot of combos that you shouldn't be able to do. Just being 100% honest with you. 1 copy of Unicorn as a dark interruption. And then for the Link 4s, I am playing 1 copy of Appaloosa. You make this card as much as this deck as you get the Tri-Brigade deck, and that's actually just crazy. So I think you have to play that. And then I opted to play Access Code Talker. Admittedly, I did not summon it at all the last locals I went to. So I might cut it for something else. I think Boral Sword might actually just be better because there's a lot of games that Boral Sword Dragon would just help me a little bit close out a lot easier than Access Code Talker would. So I think that's what we're going to switch it over to. And that, boys, was my Phantom Knight deck profile. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. If you want to know my matchups, I played against an Appliancer deck, which I have no idea what that deck did, but whatever. And then I played against Infernoble, Virtual World, and what was the other one I played against? For the life of me, I cannot remember. But I played against some relatively meta strategies, and the deck performed very, very well. If you got, like I said, if you guys want to talk about deck theory in this one, if you join Bingo HD's Discord server, I'm always in there talking deck theory and stuff like that. So feel free to stop by. Feel free to like discuss deck theory or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm always down to listen. And my name is Joe. This is the Duel Factory. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.